Thank you. Well, first of all, thank you to Alyssa and Martin for inviting us here. It's really great to be here, and I think the next couple of days are going to be very exciting for many reasons. So I'm going to talk about ancient Greek auloi double pipes and a quick overview about these instruments. So in the Mediterranean and Mesopotamia in antiquity, the most common instruments were lyre, and which Rosa is going to talk about, and double pipes. And in fact, most wind instruments we see on any iconography always tend to be double pipes. It's very, very unusual to see single pipes in the historical record, really. And in fact, this is backed up by the archaeological evidence we have too. So it may come as a surprise if we're used to reading our textbooks of Western classical music. We have a lot in organology all the way through till the early Renaissance period. And then by the time we get into the medieval period of music, we have very, very few instruments that survive, 6 or 7 fragments of lyres and harpsichord pieces and things like this. So when I got into ancient Greek instruments, I was very, very surprised, in fact, given my, I suppose, scanty knowledge of organology at the time, that there's actually a lot of surviving instruments from antiquity. So there's seems to be some sort of archaeological gap. And by the time you go back 2,000 years or so, you end up, or 1,800 years, these are large, I'm just talking in broad brush strokes here, we find lots of surviving double pipes in antiquity. And these instruments range from the earliest one being from the town of Ur, and this instrument is pre-Abrahamic, so it's pre-Abrahamic religions. And the later ones, with auloi being sort of the last ones, seem to have been made around 400 AD. So, and we also, very interestingly, we seem to have a lot of instruments from all over the Mediterranean that are practically identical in some ways. There are lots of small differences, but there seems to be instruments of particular types. And I have one here to show you. This one is a replica of an instrument that's practically intact with a few bits missing from the town of Posidonia, which is modern-day Paestum in Italy. And this instrument is shows a lot of the characteristics that we find of instruments from the same period around the entire Mediterranean. And this instrument dates from the late Archaic period to the early Classical period. So we have instruments from the late 6th century and early 5th century. In the archaeological record, many of them bear this form and these characteristics. There are some small differences that we're still trying to work out what these differences are, but the generic form of the instrument seems to be fairly standard all over the place. I'm just going to quickly put on my timer because I can get very bogged down in these sorts of things and then overrun massively. This instrument is, a lot of the instruments that survive from this period are made of bone, and this replica has been made by someone I work with very closely, a man called Max Brumberg. In fact, both of these instruments are made by Max Brumberg, who is a luthier who lives in France. We go around museums and we look at these instruments in details, and we try and make replicas of these instruments. Now, the instruments, the characteristics, because I think most of us in this room are composers, right? We're going to be interested in the capabilities of these instruments. So I'll just give a quick overview of this one, and then we'll start talking about the characteristics of the instruments a bit more. This one is a copy of the instrument from the Louvre in Paris. And this appears, we think, and we don't know because there's very little known about the conditions it was found in. This is an instrument which is found in the Louvre in Paris. It seems to be an instrument which is a lot later than this. We think it's dated from around the time of Christ, give or take 100 years either side. It's very hard to date because we don't really have much we don't know really where it was discovered. The guess is it was discovered in Egypt because the instrument is made out of wood. This dates from the Greco-Roman period. so later. And it shows an evolution, I suppose. And again, I hesitate to be too specific because we have a lot of archaeological evidence, but we still don't really know how synonymous each of these instruments are with each period exactly. But so I'm a bit tentative. But this seems to be some sort of evolution or a stylistic change from between this instrument and this instrument. This instrument is diatonic. Seems to cover the diatonic and chromatic genuses of ancient Greek scale very well, whereas this one will cover the chromatic very well and the enharmonic. And by enharmonic, I mean quarter tones, not the modern sense we use in English to describe an enharmonic, which is essentially a diatonic scale. We have this, and I should say that ancient Greek music theory as well. We have three, in given broad brushstrokes, we have three types of scale. We have diatonic, da 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 dum, da 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 dum, very similar to what we know today. We have the chromatic, da 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 da, da 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 da. Sorry, my voice is not great. And then we have the enharmonic, da 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 da, like this. And we have with these building blocks, we can create different scales. And I'm not going to get into too many details about that because that could take up at least 2 hours of your time. Let's have a look at each instrument individually. This instrument, the earlier one, this Posidonia instrument, is a wide bore instrument. So it's very loud. It's constructed out of bone, which through practice we found gives it a very clear and bright sound. And it's got very large finger holes. So clues about how we can reconstruct playing technique is I look at this instrument, it's got a wide bore and big finger holes. So normally from an instrument making perspective, when you design something like that, when you put a large finger hole on an instrument and a wide bore, it's very easy to half hole and therefore create microtones or semitones on the main scale. And it's kind of important, really, because if I play this scale normally without creating a half hole anyway, you kind of get a very sort of wide, interesting, diatonic kind of sounding scale. On this pipe. So we need some sort of other form of manipulation to actually line up these instruments with various scales. So the techniques I've developed is sort of half-holing and learning to half-hole quarter tones and semitones and things on this instrument. This instrument is, both instruments are roughly a tone apart from each other, like this. So essentially this pipe, this high pipe is one tone apart from this pipe. There's the bottom note here and here. So we have a lot of potential for close polyphony, which is great because you can explore clashing, lots of dissonance and things. And also unison. So I can create a very dry unison, or I can give it a bit of a wet tuning, to use accordion terminology. can also be a bit more polyphonic. It's a cylindrical bore, like a clarinet. So it has, in some ways, the similar properties to a clarinet. The lower you are, the sweeter the sound, and darker the tone color. And the higher that you go, the louder it gets. So the opposite to an oboe. But we have a double reed like an oboe. So really it's the bore that creates the difference. So when you write for the instrument, if you want to be very quiet and sweet, write low down. If you want to be a bit more aggressive, it's easier to do that the higher up you go. Can still manipulate the dynamics as well at the top. The instrument overblows. I won't demonstrate that too much because I need to really warm up a lot to do that well, for like half an hour or something before a concert for that sort of thing. But it overblows as well quite nicely. Sorry, it's very dry. That sort of thing. But yeah, there is certain complications you'll notice is because we have two double reeds. When we warm the instrument up, we need to kind of get the reeds balanced before we start playing. So we have to warm the instrument up a lot so that the reeds kind of get the similar moisture content, so that they behave as one rather than fighting against each other. And this has been quite a lot of the difficulty with the recreation of this instrument for me. I've done much research on reed making and trying to balance two reeds to give a similar result can prove quite challenging sometimes. On a day-to-day basis, because double reeds can be rather fickle, you have to sort of rebalance and rework the concept of how to play the instrument in your head in order to do it. But you'll notice that, for example, because it's made of bone and it's got such a wide bore, you've got quite a bright sound. So even though I can play very quietly on the instrument, the pianissimo still cuts through quite nicely, which is kind of a wonderful thing to have. Whereas with this instrument, we have a very, very different kind of instrument. By this period of time, we seem to, and this is also the other thing I have to say specifically about the differences between both instruments is we have an instrument here that we have a lot of instruments like this in the archaeological record, and there's kind of two only that really are like this. This one and the instrument in Berlin at the, I think it's at the Egyptian Museum in Berlin. And this is a smaller instrument, so it's not identical. It sort of plays roughly a fourth or a fifth higher. So we don't know how much of a red herring this one is because we don't have enough archaeological proof to really understand what this is really as much. This one is these pipes, whereas these pipes are a tone apart, this instrument is a fourth apart. So when you write for this instrument, it's a bit like, the way I think about it in my head is it's a bit like splitting the hands on a modern oboe or clarinet. So if I've got both my hands here and I were to transfer across, right, that would be where, no wait, here. That would be how it would be to play a modern oboe or clarinet. Sorry, this point. And the hands are split essentially through 2 pipes. So it gives me a greater range, right? So this I can play a full octave very easily on this. In fact, I can play up to 2 octaves fairly easily on this instrument. Whereas with this one, I only have a range of a 6th or a 7th and an octave and the overblown notes. But there are gaps because there's gaps in the register jumps because we don't have an extension like on a clarinet. Whereas this one is a bit more flexible with range, but arguably the sound quality is less than this one. Obviously, that's just my personal opinion. But we have a much narrower cylindrical bore here, so that gives you more of a reedy kind of sound and smaller finger holes. So it's less optimized for playing quarter tones, the enharmonic. It's more optimized for the diatonic and the chromatic. Let's see if we can get this one working. So with this instrument, you can do more like tune and accompaniment kind of ideas because you've got the bigger gap in the range. So for example, I can be more polyphonic because I have a wider range. So like, it gives you more play, really. You can be quite chromatic with it too. But the quarter tones don't speak as well, so I do a comparison with the quarters. Whereas with this instrument, what's going on there? They're actually fairly balanced today in terms of it, but you'll notice that this has a much brighter tone when I play the same thing than this one. And I can afford, it's much more easy to shape a quarter tone on there. In order to get this to play a quarter tone, the instrument has to be brighter in order to get it. So yeah, obviously those are different colors composers can use, but that's the sort of characteristics, differences of both. Yeah, I think I'm running out of time now. Yeah, that's a brief overview of the Aulos. Another thing I suppose with this instrument, which is kind of cool, which you can't do readily on this, is because you have the extension on the lower side of the instrument, you can preset the low holes in order to change the bass notes of the instrument. So if I take wax like this and I cover the holes, I can change the tone that I get out of the bottom of the instrument, like this. And this also allows me to overblow one note above the usual range too. So I can preset the bass note like this. are various presets you can make on both sides of the instrument. Yeah. So I think that concludes a brief introduction to the Aulos, and I'll pass over to you, Rosa.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You want to make some questions or after the...
Should we do questions now or after?
About the Aulos.
You choose what do so
Because they have it fresh, all the information, maybe.
Yeah, maybe do questions now then. That's a good idea. Yeah.
If you have any questions.
I mean, I guess it's just I wonder about the time that you took. If you're presented with a new instrument,
Yeah.
how long does it take you to transfer to sort of your embodied knowledge to the new instrument?
It's become a lot quicker over time. Do you mean between Aulos? Or...
Yeah. Because I guess every type of, I mean, every type of use seems to have very finicky characteristics. Yeah. So
Yeah.
you need to sort of really, I guess, micro memory muscle really understand it.
Yeah. The most difficult thing, by and large, is working out the reed dimensions to begin with. So every instrument requires a new challenge of basically working out the reed proportions. I mean, with double reeds, you can basically make them do practically what you want. So what I've discovered over the years is, and I mean, this is just my opinion, and there are other people doing very similar things all over the world, and they've come to very different conclusions than me on these things. The first thing I do is I spend maybe a month or two working out the reed dimension, and basically listening to the instrument and trying to make the instrument respond with the clearest sound I can. So you can do. So you're sort of constantly sort of trying to balance harmonics and try and get the sweetest blend of sound that you can between both pipes. And when you start to work that out, then you can then start to work the technique out that is required after that point. So and I've based a lot of this off of the source material. So there are, again, people who disagree with me on this, but the source material that describes Aulos sound as a whole talks very specifically about the sweetness of the instrument. They use words like glukig, which means sweet, adiumelios, which means sweet voice, clear voiced.
Yes.
These sorts of words. And my approach is always go for the sound first, work that out, and then you can start shifting elsewhere. And the other thing is as well, which is governing a lot of these sorts of things on each instrument, is I'm looking as well at the ancient Greek source material on the modes that they're using, and I'm trying to make the instrument produce these modes in the clearest way possible. So through changing the reed dimensions to align it with the bore, and then trying to work out ways of playing that work. And sometimes you have to compromise one thing against another. And this takes up a lot of time. I mean, it can take up months. And the other big problem with these instruments too is that the reeds are with double reeds as a whole today. As far as I'm concerned, we think of a double reed now as an almost disposable object. So, for example, when you're making oboe reeds, you accept that you're going to be able to play your oboe reed for a while. I've studied Baroque oboe, and also it's the same with bagpipes too. I studied bagpipes as a kid. You have a reed that's going to last a couple of weeks, a couple of months maybe, and then you're going to have to make a new one, and it's a sort of disposable object. If you read the source material and the accounts of reeds, they say stuff like, from ancient antiquity, they'll say stuff like, the Aulos reed, they become usable after many months of seasoning, but then also of playing them in. So, and through practice and trying to follow the source material as closely as possible, I've discovered that, in fact, this is very much the case, and you can't really cheat the system, even with modern technology. So when I'm blowing in new reeds, I'll spend a couple of months on it. So every time I have to reset the instrument or think about these things, I have to do this 4 or 5 times with different reed dimensions. So it's gradually sped up over time. So the more and more I've got used to it, I can hear how the instrument's going to react after 6 months, based off of the sound I'm getting with an unbroken in reed. And so as I've set up like 6 or 7 different types of Aulos now, and the last one, it kind of took a month and I was happy with it. And I know I know exactly how it's going to blow in over the next sort of 5 or 6 months, and I think it's going to be fine. Whereas, for example, when I started, this took me 3 or 4 years before I was happy with this setup. And it took with this one about 2 years. Yeah, I hope that sort of helps answer the question. I know I went off on a huge tangent, but yeah. Yeah.
And I guess in terms of transferring pieces to the other instruments, it's a nightmare, or like...
I'm starting to notice that you can with some instruments, but not with others. And some of them seem to do very, very specific things, and other instruments seem to have a bit more leeway with what you can do with these instruments. And of course, it's sort of the reverse engineering instruments. Is double reeds is a difficult thing to do. These guys would have had a concept of what they were trying to do and would make the instrument around that concept. And what we're trying to do, and it's not just me, by the way, there's a lot of people doing this, is try and we've got source material, and we've got surviving archaeological instruments, and we're trying to basically reverse engineer the reed. Which is difficult, and if we just knew a bit more, it would be this process would be a lot easier if we knew exactly what they had in mind. Because as I said earlier, you can make a double reed do practically whatever you want it to do. Yeah.
Thanks.
All right. Any other questions?
May I introduce the Lyres, no? Hello from me too, and thank you for having me here. I'd like to share my experience with an instrument that, in its simplicity, holds an entire world, the ancient Greek lyre. When I first met the lyre, what fascinated me most was how little it needs to express so much. 7 open strings, and that's all. But you will see that these 7 strings already contain everything that is needed. With only this, the lyre can be played solo, can accompany the voice, another instrument like the aulos. Its simplicity makes it versatile and easy to use in many musical contests. Let's take a small step back in time. According to the archaeological and philological evidences, the 7-string lyre was widely used in ancient Greece for over 1,000 years. Its soft, warm sound make it part of everyday life. And learning the 7-string lyre was considered essential for the education and for the formation of a good character. Plato and Aristotle both wrote that music was not about creating virtuosos, but about shaping character and ethos. And this is why, in my opinion, a simple instrument like the lyre played such an important role in education and city development. According to the Homeric hymn to Hermes, the lyre was invented by the god Hermes.
Hermes.
Yeah.
Hermes. Just after his birth, he stole Apollo's sacred cattle, hid them in a cave, and then, to seek his brother forgiveness, killed a turtle. Let's see. You can see the form of the sound case. And from its shell, created the instrument, the first lyre. A turtle shell, 2 arms, a yoke, a stressed leather crossbar, soundboard, and 7 sheep-gut strings. And when he plucked them, the first music was born. Simple, soft, and divine. And if we look at the iconography, you see, on pottery, statues, and reliefs, we always see the same posture. Not that. You can see that the player sits with the lyre on the left side, the feet grounded, sometimes tapping rhythm on the floor. The right hand holds the plectrum, while the left hand works through the telamon, the plectrum, and the telamon, who gives independence and control over the strings. The movement is elegant, minimal, and very consistent through centuries. Through a systematic study of iconography, we can observe several ways in which the lyre could be played. The most common image is this, that one. Even better. So if we create an instrument, the lyre, as close as possible to the original, following the sources, of course, tune the instrument diatonically, as I did, and try to imitate this gesture, we have, let's see what he's making, we have that sound. And if we start catalog the images with different gestures that the iconography offers, we can have a palette of possibilities. From this, we arrived at some of the techniques we now use. The essential, let's see a little bit of images. Standing, dancing while playing the lyre. The same gesture with the open palm and the plectrum go through the strings. The same thing here. You see, this is a pose scene. Another one with an aulos. We have a lot of these images too. So if we try to put all the same gestures together, we can create something. If I made this, or I search to imitate it, exactly the same position of other images, or let's see, this one, for example. If I make this, I can arrive in hypothesis. I don't want to say techniques, but it's an hypothesis. Also this. You see the fingers. The University of Thessaloniki made a really great work with an archive of ancient musical iconography. And the professor who did the research created a kind of catalog with all the same gestures. So it's a huge work with all the iconography we have. And what I wanted to underline is the essential element. The essential element is the interplay of the hands. They use both hands. So it's very important the use of telamon, and we can see that in every image. We don't see this. We always see the telamon in the left hand, the strap, because it helps to hold the lyre steadily and perform more easily. So, after the research of iconography, we can see a technique that is the strumming. So I can mute the strings and play different chords. Also, I can combine the strumming with a melodic line, for example. Always with the help of iconography, when we see this, we can imagine that it's another kind of chord with a plectrum and the free string.
The limited is the harmonic here, because with the harmonics, I can extend my range. So I have the 7 strings, the octave, the second octave, and yes, if I had more space, I could reach also higher pitches, higher ranges. And so if I have to create a chord with a harmonic, I limit myself in 1 harmonic and 3 strings, for example. If I play the same thing, no, it's not the same. If I play with a finger and not with a plectrum, I can combine 2 harmonics and 1 string, free string, but it's a little bit difficult. So when Callum or another composer ask me advices, I always ask him to not put many harmonics together, because it's difficult to perform if I have chords. The other thing that I can do is the alternation of both hands and make some kind of pedal. Double pedal, maybe. Or pedal with the harmonics. Pedal with 2 harmonics. Or another, this is not, it's a huge hypothesis because we don't have an image to prove that thing, but you can see that if you press under the bridge, you can alterate the pitch of the chord. So if you play an harmonic, for example, and I have to accompany you, I have to find some quarters or something to alterate the string. So it's a hypothesis, a huge hypothesis. So we have all this palette of possibilities, of techniques. And through working with the lyre, I discovered how its simplicity is a doorway to expression. The fewer the strings, the greater the freedom to explore tone, rhythm, and harmony. And to conclude, I like to think of the lyre not as a museum object, but as a living instrument. It connects us to a time when music was a fundamental part of life, shaping character and soul. And perhaps that is still its message. Through simplicity, through sound, we can experience the essence of music itself. And one other thing that I think it's important to mention is that you have the fortune of to find an instrument with the holes. Unfortunately, the lyre, we don't have the strings. So Callum for me is a treasure because I can explore other possibilities, putting the strings with the aulos. So the aulos can help me to understand how also lyre was perceived. Mm-hmm. And this is, I think, a great work now that we are doing, the collaboration of both those instruments, because it's more easy now to understand other possibilities, tunings, blendings, and tetrachords, for example, or combination of tunings. Because, yes, I can put the 7 strings, as the iconography tells me, but I don't know how they were tuned, those strings. diatonically, pentatonically, the mode and those both tetrachords, how it was combined. With Aulos, I think it's a very good research to do.
Yeah, and similarly,
together, yes.
Similarly for this, where there's lots of iconography with Aulos and Lyre playing
Exactly,
together.
we have all the...
So you have to voice the Aulos to blend with the Lyre, which is...
Also, we have images that the Aulos give the tone, because the tuners, they haven't tuners in
Well,
that
yeah.
age. So we had the Aul. I think the Lyres had the Aulos for tune, maybe, to give...
There's an ancient quote somewhere that says Auloi are only ever in tune with themselves. So that's... yeah.
So yes, I think that we opened when I met Callum and the Aulos. I found an ocean of other possibilities in front of me, and we are in that ocean now, and so excited to swim in that ocean. Thank you. If you have questions about the Lyre, I'm happy to answer.
I have a question.
Yes.
Maximum, how many harmonics you can play?
How many harmonies?
Like, for example,
Harmonics. The overtone. You think? Yes, we have. So I have the first string. I have the octave. I have the fifth upper the octave.
I mean, like as a chord.
As a chord.
At the
The same
same time,
time, it's okay. I can do with two and the free strings with the fingers, but it's difficult if I have a tempo, fast tempo, or other notes in the bar. So I prefer one at a time. Yes, but that means that it's not that I prefer that. It's not that. This is the answer, the right answer. So I can see that with one harmonic I can play a two notes chord or a three, and the same thing with the fingers, and also with the upper overtones. No, thank you.
I would like this adjusting the tuning below the bridge.
Yes, the alteration.
How consistent do you feel it is?
I don't use it often. Yes, I prefer also to use it less. But if the piece requires that, I can help with that technique. But I can't use it with a fast tempo, because if I have to play a harmonic and the chord and then alterate, I don't have enough fingers to do all of these things. So if I play the alteration, I have to consider that I have only my left hand.
But the alteration is easy to find what you want.
It's yes.
It's a little bit of a guess.
Exactly. You have to. I don't have a good ear, but with the practice you can arrive in the quarter tone. If I have the Aulos, it's easier because I have a point of reference. So, yes, it's not too precise.
So, but I don't know. I was like, if you're playing the Aulos, but then you rehearse a piece that you feel is something that you can consistently
use.
grab
it in the
tone that I want to sort of.
Yes, if I have the Aulos, yes, yeah. we are trying a piece with alteration, with many alteration inside, and when I play with the Aulos, it's very easy for me to find it. Instead when I practice myself alone, without him. But yes, it's a matter of practice, I think, as everything.
Yeah, and I was using like if one is asking for you to play the harmonics, it gets more. You get more tired, or because I guess if you are not asking for harmonics, maybe you are a little bit more relaxed. No?
Of course, if I have only the alterate note, it's the best for me. But for example, the chords are easier. Martin put the alteration at the final part of the piece, and from here, make here this one. Because if I have the third, the interval of third, I can find it easily than if I had the note, alterate note by itself.
I don't know if I'm clear enough.
Yeah, no. So what I wonder is like, because I see that for the harmonics you have sort of to extend the hand. Now, aside from the alteration, no? But if you're playing that, I guess asking you too many harmonics.
Yes, it's not an easy thing, but you have to practice.
No? So
Yes.
just to have it in mind of like.
And you have to find also the point of where you have to play the harmonic, because if I play it here, it's good. But if I play it here, there is no harmonic here. So I have to find exactly the point of the middle of the string, or the 2/3 of the string. And I have to be fast and precise, together with other strings, or maybe like the pedal, for example. It's a matter of practice, all these things, also all the instruments at the end. I don't know if I answered your question.
So, as I understand, for every piece you play, you're together, you also need a lot of preparation to.
Huge.
Maybe you have to blend your two pipes.
Yeah.
Prepare that part, and then you have to.
Exactly.
The blending between.
I think the most important is the blending of the sound, because if I'm not in tune with him, I can't find the harmonics. You can't hear them. You can hear the harmonics only if we are perfectly in tune. And this is amazing, because when you find it, it's like a magical moment. But it's not easy.
It's been great writing for the various, working on the various modern pieces, because it's forced us to look in areas that we wouldn't normally look.
Out of our safe zone.
Yeah, and this is fantastic for developing techniques, actually setting up instruments in different ways. And so it's incredibly valuable, really. Yeah. Yeah.
So, but I understand there's a certain, I don't know, when I was writing stuff, I feel like these old instruments have this fragility, no, in terms of the quality of the sound. It requires a lot of effort to come to that.
Yes.
Equilibrium in the sound. Yeah.
This is true.
I think there's two elements at play, if I may. One is that we're still doing a lot of work on working out how these things work. And normally, I imagine in 20 years' time, certain things will be a lot easier. There's that. And then there's the second thing is that, yeah, I think with modern instruments, we're so lucky with how instruments have developed over the last 500 years that essentially a lot of the like orchestral instruments now, there's a great deal of, like, for example, if you take orchestral woodwind, some instruments now are completely littered with keys. So when you press a key, you get the exact note you want. And whereas with these instruments, we're sort of having to, you have to form every note, you have to shape every note. You need a slightly different embouchure to find every note on the instrument. And that sounds, in some ways, it sounds like it's actually, going off topic a bit, it sounds like that would be a bad thing, but actually it's kind of cool because it opens up way more coloration possibilities. I've found difference between playing modern instruments and older instruments is you tend to be able to find more colors in older instruments because you have this, I don't like to say natural instability built in, but it enables, if you can work out whatever embouchure tricks and other things, if you can work out how to get it, you normally have a larger tonal palette to play with. Yeah.
I guess you have more of this connection with body and handling and sonic result, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Modern instruments sort of more straightforward, like.
In some ways, yeah, I think so.
Very cool.
Is it hard to detune the instrument, like changing the tuning?
Yes, I have to retune for every piece. I think to adjust the tuning. It's that you're talking about. Yes, because the keys is not the best solution. It's a late solution. At the classical and the archaic era, they had colopes, and it was more stable system to keep the string. Something different.
without holes in the yoke. So with this system, it's a little bit risky. When I change the environment, or even from here to outside, I will lose my tuning. So yes, I have to adjust it. And it's also risky when we have to change the tuning for the piece.
Normally, the structure of the instrument is it's a biatonic instrument, right?
I think so.
Like if you make randomly, for example, very random tuning, of course, still you can play something.
Of course.
It's up to what composer wants.
Exactly, you can tune it as you wish with I don't know which criteria, but I think in the ancient times they follow the tetrachords. But now, yes, if you want to experiment with this instrument, you can make what you want with the tuning.
But how much leeway do you have for?
Yes, I have two tones of range. Up and down. No, I think this string can go lower. You don't have a good sound if you go lower, but you can go higher 2 tones from that. Otherwise, you could change the size of the string. 2 tones. This is an F. You can go to fa sol, even if you want an A. But then you have to consider also the last one, if you have to tune diatonically. So you can go up here, but you have to think also the other 6, what you want from them.
I just out of curiosity to turn it down like this.
If you want to try the instrument, I'm happy. If someone wants to try to play something don't worry.
I'm very shy to play instruments. I feel like
Yes.
innocent.
If you want after the workshop. Please.
So you give me my first lesson.
Okay. So the most important thing is the telamon, because it gives you the independent of your left hand. Try the stability of, put it here maybe to grab it, the plectrum. And then you have to consider that the plectrum, it's the extension of your thumbnail.
Okay,
So it's easy for you to try it.
And you were doing.
Exactly.
Crazy. It's super difficult, huh?
I prefer to create the harmonic upper. I cut the string in the middle, and then I consider, for example, my finger as a imaginary bridge. So if I put the bridge here, I put upper the bridge. I play after, exactly.
Nice.
It's much easier. And you have to find the exact point of the harmonic with a Pythagorean system.
It's hard to find.
It's a matter of practice. More you practice, more you can find easily the things. And you can alternate. For example, the easy thing to do is to make a pedal, to alternate your thumb and the plectrum. And make pam, 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 pam. On the same string, for example. Make a pedal here. And then with the plectrum, you can follow a melodic line. Exactly. I think the most magical thing is the open string. The vibration of the open string it's magic.
Can we listen to this like being very out of tune lower?
You want
To hear the noise.
try. In that way, it's harder to find the harmonic, because you need tension for create harmonics.
No. Impossible.
Let me try. No, I don't think so. Maybe with the plectrum it's easier.
It sounds very, very good. Sounds
You like
a
it?
very, very ancient instrument. No? So cool.
Anyone else? You want to try, Shui? You want to try? Please. Again, the telemon.
Okay.
You have to be autonomous with your left hand. Your left hand is very important because it's like the piano. You need both hands. So
So
you.
I should.
Can I also have lessons in Lyra, or is
Ah,
I don't want to mess with your reeds.
Oh, you want to try? Yeah, you can have a try. Yeah. Yeah, I'll set it up in a minute.
can you show me that?
Of course. So you have to find the middle of the string. So if you cut the middle of the string,
With this hand?
so let me. You have to find the middle of the string with this finger and to play upper, but you are very high here. You have to be in the middle. So you have to consider the length from the bridge to the yoke. Find the middle and then look here.
Yeah. Okay.
And then play upper the string. And you have to consider this as your extension of the thumbnail. So exactly.
And microphones, how you did it?
The microtones, the quarter of tones, I can found
You did
them.
something
Yes, I can push, or there is another hypothesis, but it's not very comfortable when you are playing to cut the string here, for example. But if you play something fast, it's very hard to find this. Otherwise, you can press under the bridge with your thumb, not with the plectrum. Exactly. Great.
Okay, I can do it the same. Yeah, you want to have Great.
Oops. Sorry. The telamon on your left hand. You need your left hand to mute or to play. This is your extension of your thumbnail. So you grab it like this, yes, here, and you can mute the strings you don't want to hear and play a chord, or add exactly. You can mute, for example, choose intervals of 3, like this, strung now, and change the strings to create exactly. And you can find the harmonic in the middle of the string. If you find the middle of the string, and then consider your finger as the bridge, so you play upper the bridge. Exactly. Brava. Be comfortable, don't worry. Like this. Exactly. So you have the octave, the fifth, the other octave. Eccola, here, there. And with the plectrum, it's very, the sound is louder. Immediately after you pluck, you have to put away the finger so the string can resonate. So immediately after plucking, pluck, 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 you make this. But it's like a second after. Yes, it's a little bit, but with practice, it's like a month to have all the harmonics in a good quality. And then you can alterate the easy thing that it's beautiful to hear. Like this, it's to alterate thumb and plectrum, pam, 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 and create some melodies. Make this plum, pum. Exactly. Finger, plectrum, finger, plectrum. Exactly.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
You want to try a pipe?
You want to-
A lot of instrumental lessons today.
So that's your right hand pipe. This is for how,
Can you go from here
Yeah,
so the
okay.
camera is...
So I'll be like doing it
Let's
here.
put an image without.
yeah. So you have to. So the thing is, you have a finger hole here, then you've got a thumb hole. This finger has to stretch all the way down there. So that finger there, this finger stretches down here, and then this one here, and then this one there. But it's probably easier not to worry about that. So that takes a while to basically find the yeah.
Yeah, I cannot do it.
Yeah, okay. Maybe it's easier to try this one, actually. Yeah, sure.
You're a wind player.
No, terrible. But I can.
These are some of the small stretch alloy, by the way.
You have
Yeah.
to stretch out.
So this finger goes here, and then this stretches down there. And then like this. Yeah.
You're natural looking.
There you go, that's pretty good. Yeah. And then
You
you...
can't.
Yeah, it's much easier. If you look at a lot of the iconography, you see that a lot of the players are playing like this on the pads of the fingers rather than on the fingertips.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's much
You have
easier.
to do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I see. I've
And
seen
that-
this style before, like in the.
Yeah.
in the bottom stuff.
Exactly, yeah.
But this I can't do either. Okay, like this maybe.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
But and then.
And then, so you have to form a sort of cushion with your lip around the reed, and you can sort of press your lip against your teeth, and then you want to relax your jaw as much as possible. You
That
put,
is never gonna happen. But yeah,
yeah, and then just try and blow, see if you can get a sound out of it.
no way.
Okay.
I can't. No.
Let's see if maybe it's not working. Let's have a look.
No. Probably.
Yeah. So a lot of the sound, the difficulty with Aulos is keeping relaxed while laying down a lot of strength to keep the reed shut and operational, and using the diaphragm to bring up the pitch. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Can I take?
Have a go?
Like, no.
And these stretches are, so it's just sort of like a medium to easy stretch, this instrument. Some of them, the stretch is wider on one pipe than all the finger holes on a treble recorder combined. So it took me like 3 years to be able to stretch the larger pipes. Yeah. There we go, that's... Wow. But it will be much easier if you cover the holes properly, because you're getting that sort of very quiet sound because you're not covering the holes. So yeah, that's if I may move your finger to that position and lift that finger up. There we go, and just cover that hole and see if you can get a sound now. You're not covering that top hole. There we go.
Not easy.
Relax and lots of diaphragm support. Yeah. Almost. There you go.
Wow.
Very good. That's pretty good. For a first try, that's pretty good. Yeah. Yeah.
It's so cool, man. But you can feel it, like, yeah, you can feel it here, no?
You feel it, yeah, here, like, because I find that, yeah, it's sort of, you get this, the sound
comes from the chest.
Yeah.
Like it feels very connected, like as you were saying, like the other flutes and stuff. You feel the sound generation.
Yeah.
Very in the instrument and here.
The more relaxed you are, it's sort of like, it sounds a bit sort of like, I don't know, sort of like spiritual, but like the more relaxed you are and the more at one you are, then the better sound you get, because the more grounded you are and everything, yeah, playing wind, it's all about, the more relaxed you are, the better tone quality you get. And yeah, you just have to, like most of the time I'm simply practicing being relaxed so that you don't basically inhibit the reed for doing what it wants to do, right? Mm-hmm. So the more tense you are, the more you put weird pressures on the reed and lots of other small things. And so you won't let the instrument naturally do what it wants to do. But the more relaxed you are, the more you can let the instrument do it. A bit like singing, isn't it?
Yeah, it feels very much, it's so much like, instead of instruments, like an extension of the body.
Yeah, of course, yeah,
Pretty
please.
cool.
Oh.
But wow, you have the strongest lungs on the land.
Yeah.
Take a picture.
I want small pipes, Scottish small pipes. That's what I want to get, actually.
Yeah. I play Scottish small pipes. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Sound great.
Yeah, it's a cool instrument.
Maybe it was written in my past life.
There you go. Not bad.
So how did you do that? Like,
Just
should I do like?
connect like the diaphragm, like
Yeah.
the exercises of singing.
You know when you say ha ha ha?
Okay.
Yeah. Use that. Yeah.
Relaxing mouth.
Yeah. But support with the lip. So it's like you have to support but be relaxed at the same time. There you go.
Why it's not changing?
Because you're leaking this top hole. You've got you're half open at the top, so you're getting the top note. There you go. You have to cover that hole completely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why? Why?
And then your thumb is lower. So your thumb, you've got there you go. Found the first harmonic.
Okay, I'm hearing this.
Very good. Yeah.
But it really sounds like an instrument from Turkey, my country, called duduk.
Yeah.
It sounds like
I-
maybe you know.
I do know very well. In fact, I think possibly, in my opinion, it's particularly these later Aulos, the duduk is the closest in relationship to this instrument. So it's even like some of the tuning internally in the pipe. One of my students pointed this out actually, that the tuning, because he's a duduk player, that actually the internal tuning of this instrument, the Lyre Aulos, is very similar to a duduk actually. And interestingly, I always thought with the top pipe, actually you just have enough holes to cover everything. So you can even play it in a similar style to a duduk. And I think duduk and the thumb hole's in the same place as a duduk, which is second hole down. And I believe, and I'm not a duduk expert or anything, I don't play the duduk, that they sometimes will play duduk with all fingers and then sometimes shift their hand up like this as well. And so, yeah, I've often wondered, it's complete speculation, if there is indeed a connection between this instrument and the duduk. Yeah.
I'm sorry, I forgot the name of this instrument.
Aulos.
Aulos.
Yeah.
But you mean the subname? This one was supposed to look Poseidon and...
Yeah,
Louvre.
yeah, this is Posidonia Aulos, this is the Louvre Aulos. Yeah.
And in terms of the material, like, you feel like if it's bone or stone or some kind of thing, like there's more difficulty to generate the sound? Or?
No, I suppose the vast majority of the sound is coming from your own tone production, but the material, your own tone production. But the vast majority, and that's where the vast majority of the sound comes from. But then the icing on the cake is the material it's made of. And I mean, for example, and bone just makes, I think it's bone for whatever reason seems to transmit the sound a lot more easily than wood does. And obviously amongst woods as well, that's a difference. This is boxwood. Box is a very good, I mean, it was the main woodwind making instrument until we got, in Europe, until we got African hardwoods and South American hardwoods coming in. And this, I mean, and box really makes a very good sound. But if you make the same instrument out of box and then make it out of bone, it transforms. You get a lot more, to my ear, you're getting a lot more harmonics, sort of higher harmonics. That everything's sort of more in tune and in sync with each other. With the bone, in comparison with the wood. But the general tone production, comes predominantly from you and not the material of the instrument. Yeah.
And when you're making the reed, like, how careful you have to be, like how many, whether you make the reed, you try it on a very rough thing and then you refine it.
Yeah.
So it's like millimetric adjustments.
Yeah. I mean,
over it,
you can hear a difference in how you scrape a reed down to 1,000th of an inch. You can really tiny adjustments make a big difference to a reed, and balancing reeds and stuff. Yeah, you can take a scalpel and run it over once, and you can hear a difference in the tone production. But there's obviously a tolerance. You don't have to be that accurate every time. But if you really want to, you can optimize the reed down to infinitesimally small details. It's not 100% necessary, but for the best sound, yeah, you can get really nerdy and spend hours on one set.
But you feel it in the mouth when you know the reed.
Everything. You hear it in the tone, you feel it in the mouth, you feel it how well the two pipes lock together, everything. The way the reed behaves, the way it overblows, how much movement you have between each, how much you can lip a pipe up and down, all sorts of things. It really affects everything. There's no one way to do it. Everything's a balancing act. Yeah, it's a complete balancing act. So you can there's lots of different ways you can set up a reed to get similar results, but also widely variety results, because every tiny little detail and in dimension makes a difference. Yeah.
So, like, I don't have to name the instruments, are like the different version of Aulos, or only this one has Aulos?
So we're using they're all alloy, and we're using the names of the place that the originals were discovered to name them. So this one was discovered in Posidonia, which is modern day